New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Volvo. Volvo for life. By MetLife. Have you MetLife today? And by your local tri-state quality Ford store with the best-selling vehicles on the planet. And a reminder, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Sterling Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. And a reminder, tonight's contestant in the Champion Mortgage Champion of the Game sweepstakes is Rodney Cox from Queens Village, New York. Rodney picked Cliff Floyd as his champion. Now, if Floyd gets 3 hits tonight, Rodney wins 2 tickets to an upcoming Mets game and is eligible for the grand prize drawing for a suite with his friends. Fans, you too can enter, send a postcard with your information and your player choice to the address on the screen. Champion Mortgage, proudly serving homeowners for more than 20 years. And Jay So taking his warm-up tosses as we embark on a big 3-game series with the Phillies in the starting lineup. Jimmy Rollins, the catalyst, leading off. Got Kenny Lofton. Chase Utley has been on fire lately. Bobby Abreu also. Pat Burrell, always a Met killer in left field. And of course, Ryan Howard, strong first baseman, and he can hit the ball a long way. He'll face Jay So, Keith.
Well, you're looking at Jay So's numbers here. Since his recall back in August 6th, developed the split finger and the slider. Made him a 3-pitch pitcher instead of a 2-pitch pitcher. He's gone 4-0 with the Mets, an ERA below 2. So he's been a big part of this resurging Met ball club. The defense brought to you by New York Lotto. The Castro behind the plate, Wright, Reyes, Cairo, Jacobs in the infield. Out in the outfield, we have Diaz, Beltran, and Floyd. And there's Mike Jacobs off to a great start. This is his 6th start in his last 7 games. Of course, had the big series in Arizona.
And our Hyundai keys to the game brought to you by Hyundai.
And that So must stay in control, Jay. So keep it going. He doesn't walk people. And of course, a big negative for the Mets is no lefty in the bullpen. Very surprising.
And fans, remember, Hyundai and MSG Networks are teaming up to strike out pediatric cancer by donating $50 for every recorded strikeout by a Mets pitcher to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund. So we're set to go. Big series. Mets and the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins leads it off for the Phillies. And like Jose Reyes, he is the Phillies catalyst. Jay So has pitched brilliantly in his last 5 starts. And his first pitch is up and out of the strike zone. 1-0 on Rollins.
Rollins has been struggling. Had a terrible month of August. Hit 176. They say that he is just chasing the fastball. They're going up and down the ladder on him.
Takes a strike there, so count evens up 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenny Lofton waits on deck. Skies are overcast here in New York today. And a 1-1 pitch to Rounds. He pulls it foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Jay So has been brilliant in his last few outings. In fact, the game he pitched before he went to the minor leagues, Keith, he pitched a whale of a ball game against the Phillies.
Yes, he did. And that was back, what, March 4th? 3-2 Met win. And there's the splitter, Fran. That's something we're seeing different now. He's throwing it more than he does his changeup. Getting more action, more sink. You see it sink there.
So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Jimmy Rollins is batting .262.
There it is again, the splitter. You can see the big sinking action, taking a lot off. Now watch the bottom drop off here. That's plain to see on TV right there. It's right there for you.
I asked Rick Peterson as you look at Mike Cameron, who exchanged lineups at home plate tonight.
Now, is that a smile or is his jaw just hurt?
No, really. Fouls it back. Rollins does so. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rollins with 9 home runs. Mike Cameron exchanging lineups at home plate tonight with Mark Bombard, the first base coach of the Phillies. And he got a nice round of applause when he went out there with that lineup card. But Jay So has mastered 5 pitches. Rick Peterson, I asked him, what would, before the ball game tonight, I said, what would you pick for his best pitches? You look at the Rollins numbers for July and August. Rick Peterson said, I really can't pick one. He said, I like all 5 of them.
Well, I've watched on TV since he's come back, and it's not a great slider, but he locates it so well. It doesn't matter how much it breaks. And there's the first pitch inside. He tried to throw Rollins there, which he can't live on the outside corner. We know that So isn't overpowering. He has to be a control pitcher. But getting back to his slider and his splitter, you don't have to have the world's greatest breaking ball. If you locate, you're going to get people out.
Locates there, and it's fouled back. In fact, Guy Conte, the bullpen coach with the New York Mets, said when Jay So was pitching in Port St. Lucie, you see 9 pitches to Jimmy Rollins. Guy Conte went down to see Jay So because he heard that he threw a screwball, and his changeup is almost like a screwball. So he's got those 5 pitches, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off down the left field line. So set it up and do it again at 2-2.
Well, you see Rollins right there, not fooled by that pitch. It was a changeup and up. And So right now, what I see with his pitch is up. It's not where you want your changeup. It's belt high. You see Rollins staying right in there. I got to believe you got to try to come in and get him now.
This will be his 11th pitch to Jimmy Rollins. They're going away. Rollins, it's a high fly ball, right field. Victor Diaz moving over, but Carlos Beltran calls him off, and Beltran makes the grab, 1 down.
Well, on a muggy night, and I mean it is muggy and sweaty, he made Jay So work for that out. 11 pitch at bat. And that's that'll get you going.
Now, if you're Kenny Lofton, second hitter, do you take a pitch, make him work some more, or do you go after the first pitch?
I think it's just depends on the hitter. Lofton's a guy that's a table setter. He's got an excellent on-base percentage this year at 372. If it's Burrell or Abreu, your big bombers, you want those guys taking a fastball first pitch? I don't think so.
Well, that's the 12th pitch now. Chase Utley on deck. Kenny Lofton taking outside, 2 balls and no strikes. David Wright in on the grass. Mike Jacobs playing deep first base for Lofton. There's the defense, even up all the way around. So it's 3 balls and no strikes on Kenny Lofton. Prior to the ball game, when Jay So went out to right field, he does some sprints before he starts throwing. The fans on the right field line gave him a nice hand as he went out to prepare. There's a strike.
Well, remarkably, in the National League, there's only one team that has a winning record on the road, and that's the Cardinals, who are a superior team.
There's a fly ball right field. Diaz going back to the wall. 1-0 Phillies. So Kenny Lofton burning Jay So with a home run. And the second batter of the ball game puts the Phillies on the board.
That's Lofton's second home run of the season.
21st RBI of the season for Lofton. .31, 86-mile-per-hour fastball. So the Phillies strike first here in the first inning. Batter now be Chase Utley. Utley having a real solid year. 19 home runs. He's got 28 doubles. He takes a strike.
Well, it's a fastball away and didn't get it away enough and got it belt high. And So's been up early in this game. And this is, of course, as early as they can get it the first inning. He's got to be downstairs.
He's upstairs there, and Utley fouls the ball back.
Well, you can see right there, that is right on the barrel of the bat. That's right down the middle, belt high. And that's not an uppercut swing. That is a level swing right there by Lofton.
So Lofton, his second home run of the year. And picture worth 1,000 words right there as he's smiling all over the place as Utley goes down. So 2-men are out here in the top of the first inning.
Well, chases the bad splitter here. There we go. That's where you want to throw it. You want to throw it above the knee, around 2-3 inches above the knee, and get it to break down bad at the last minute and see if the hitter's going to chase.
Here's the man we talked about in the open, Bobby Abreu, who's been struggling against the Mets this year. I mentioned in the open how he had quite a night at the All-Star game when he had won the home run hitting contest. He had 20. There's a strike right there. He had 18 home runs in 89 games prior to the All-Star game. At the All-Star game in a home run hitting contest, he had 41 balls over the wall. Since that All-Star game, he has only 4 home runs.
Well, here's the turn back the clock here. And this is July 11th at the All-Star game in Detroit.
What a display of power that night. 41 balls went over the wall for Bobby Abreu, but only 4 cents. Look at that pitch, Keith.
That's the split of the ball. The bottom drops out. Now, remember, So now is going around the league for the first time. I know the scouts have said, hey, he's throwing a slider and a splitter now, but still, you have to, as a hitter, experience it up at the plate at first. So he's going to sneak through the league first until the hitters get try to get a backdoor curve right there. Not a bad pitch, just missed.
That just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs first inning.
That's a nice try right there. But hitters will adjust. And right now, Jay So, with coming back with his 2 new pitches, has just gone through the National League like Sherman from Georgia.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bobby Abreu is a contact hitter with 2 strikes. As you see, the National League leaders, 2 strike hits. Bobby Abreu with 67. Derek Lee 68. And we'll do it to get it 2-2 now on Abreu. Fouls it back. Bobby Abreu's idol growing up was Roberto Alomar. Sandy Alomar's son, who's a terrific major league player, spent some time here with the Mets. And 25 pitches here in the first inning. So a laborious inning for Jay So. Bobby Abreu continues to foul the pitches off.
I tell you what, Fran, this National League East, it's not Atlanta's for the taking.
No.
There's people in the hunt here. I've liked Florida from the beginning, and they're starting to play better.
A couple of races have been struggling lately. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Abreu, base hit into right field. So a terrific at bat for Bobby Abreu, and he adds to his total of 2 strike hits.
Well, this is why Bobby Abreu is a 300 hitter. He got behind the count with 2 strikes. He battled, fought off pitches, and this is a good, decent pitch. Not quite away enough, but look at him staying on that off-speed pitch. Base hit to right field.
And batting out Pat Burrell, who is swinging a hot bat lately. You know his history against the Mets. Abreu can steal a base. Take a look at the NL East. We talk about those Braves. And Keith, I always felt that the Mets get back into this thing 6 games out. Washington's not out of it. There's Philadelphia, and you mentioned Florida.
Well, they're all in the hunt, and you know, the least amount of teams you have in front of you, the better. But everybody's going to be playing each other in September. We finally got that experiment of playing out a division in September. Thank God that's over with. I mean, this is what it's all about. We got all these games this whole month of September, and everybody bunched together. You got a wild card in the mix, and you've got 4 teams in the East and Houston in the Central that all got a shot.
Pat Burrell takes a ball 1-1. So the Mets and the Phillies, as Keith mentioned, games remaining right there, Keith.
Well, you see right there, Mets have 1 more game in 32, 25 and 24 in division. Phillies got to play Houston, and those are the teams they're playing with above. So it's pretty even, Steven.
Now, as Keith mentioned, most teams do struggle a little bit on the road, including the Phillies and the Mets. As Pat Burrell skies one deep left field. Floyd going back, home run. So Pat Burrell continues to hit the Mets. A 2-run homer on Jay So. And here in the first inning, the Phillies have taken a 3-0 lead.
I'm sorry, Frank, go ahead.
I was going to say 30 pitches this inning for Jay So, Keith.
And that is the 29th career home run for Burrell versus the Mets in his short career. As Rick Peterson comes out to the mound to talk to So.
So Pat Burrell hit an 86-mile-per-hour fastball. Both of them were fastballs. Home runs hit by Kenny Lofton and Pat Burrell. As you look at it again into the Pepsi picnic area here at Shea Stadium. So the Mets are early on playing catch-up baseball against the Phillies.
Well, Burrell's a low ball hitter, and look at this pitch, Fran. He just naturally has that swing, whatever that was. I was trying to telestrate there. I did something different, but that ball's down and in, and that's his sweet spot right there.
Willie Randolph talking to Sandy Alomar Sr. And Ryan Howard just pulled the ball foul, so it's 0-1 at a big first baseman who has taken the place of Jim Thome. Howard's 10 home runs, and they tell me most of them, Keith, on balls that are below the belt.
Well, everybody's a low ball hitter, Fran, and when we were kids growing up, it was right-handers were high ball hitters and left-handers were low ball hitters. Now everybody's a low ball hitter, right and left.
So is that guy right there,
yeah.
Mike Jacob.
Yeah, he's definitely likes that ball middle in, then down. He's very quick inside.
1 ball and 2 strikes, and Ryan Howard, along with those 10 home runs, has got 10 doubles and 35 RBIs. And a 1-2 pitch to Howard. This is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Pedro Martinez will be on the mound for the Mets. It'll be a second game in his 3-game series, and the final game will be a Thursday afternoon contest. Kenny Lofton will be here. He was here tonight. He hit a home run early on as Howard fouls it off. Just tuned in. Kenny Lofton batting second in the Phillies order. Went deep to give the Phillies a 1-0 lead, and then Pat Burrell, with a runner aboard, hit a 2-run homer.
I just think a lot of the guys are fouling off tough pitches away on So. He just can't live out there.
He gets them with the high heat. That'll do it for the Phillies, but they strike first and they strike second. All in the first inning. First, Kenny Lofton, a solo shot, and Pat Burrell, 2-run homer, and the Phillies have the lead. We'll be back. Robinson Tejeda set to take on the Met lineup. It's 3-0 Phillies, and that's the Met lineup right there. Reyes, Cairo, Beltran, Floyd against right-handed pitching. He hammers the baseball. Then you got Wright, Jacobs, Diaz, Castro, and Shea.
And there's Robinson Tejeda. He's just called up this year, a rookie, 23 games, 11 starts, 12 relief appearances. 6'3", 190-pound, 23-year-old Dominican.
Got good stuff. Throws that fastball about 93, 94 miles an hour, and there's his heater at 89. And Jose Reyes taking it for a strike. Showed you some numbers in the open. When Jose Reyes does the job against the Phillies, the Mets win. They need him to start the engine.
Well, Tejeda's got a changeup, a little slider, and a straight fastball. Basically throws low 90s, and you can see there, since the All-Star break, the 2 guys up on top making Omar Minaya and Fred Wilpon very, very happy. And we can throw Willie Randolph in that mix too.
Fastball up high, 2-1. By the way, the league leaders were brought to you by Mohegan Sun, a world of play. So it's 2-1 on Reyes, who has 18 doubles and 14 triples. There's the grip.
And you saw the 3-finger. That would be his changeup, but that's a fastball with the 2 fingers.
He went from 3 to 2 in the glove.
I think they've told him basically to do that every pitch, so he's not giving it away. If you change and don't do the same thing all the time, you move your hands around. A guy like Rusty Staub would have a field day off.
Rusty will join us in the 3rd inning to talk about the late Tug McGraw. As Reyes puts it in play, Rollins knows. Reyes didn't get down to base in a hurry. Rollins, with that strong throw, got him at first, scored 6-3, 1 down.
And the the defense for the Phillies, brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. It's a young guy, Howard at first, Chase Utley at second, Rollins, Bell on the other side of the infield, Mike Lieberthal behind the plate, Burrell, Lofton, and Abreu in the outfield. And there's Chase Utley. Boy, he's just done a heck of a job in those 73 starts in the last 74 games. He's just turned his season around.
Miguel Cairo takes a fastball for a strike. So with the 3-run lead, Tejeda throwing that fastball at 92 miles an hour and getting it over the plate. Fastball misses outside again at 93. Cairo with 14 RBIs this year. Willie Randolph was hoping to get more production in that RBI department. from Miguel Cairo.
Well, he's hitting in the number 2 hole, hit and run position in the lineup. He takes a lot of pitches for Reyes. He's a veteran hitter. And you're in the 2 hole. It's not required to drive in a lot of runs, but you certainly want your number 2 guy to drive in runs when he has opportunities.
And he's had some opportunities. As you look at Carlos Beltran on deck. So it's 2-1 on Cairo. 2-2.
Talking with Larry Anderson, the former Phillies pitcher, Houston Astros, about Tejeda. He said he's nothing outstanding. He goes, he gets behind. He's got 48 walks in 78 innings. That's way too many. He says, there's Larry. Gets behind in the count and gets people out.
Ground ball up the middle. Utley, who's known for his bat, has improved with his glove, and he gets Cairo at first base. Scored 4-3, 2 down.
Well, that ball was hit sharply by Cairo.
And Carlos Beltran will be the batter.
Nice play by Utley here. Nice backhand, soft hands. Knows he has the balls hit hard, has plenty of time to make the play.
Beltran batting .263, only 13 home runs this year, and he takes a strike. He has struggled with that bat pretty much all year. The Mets are hoping to get more production out of Beltran.
He just hasn't been able to get it going at all this whole season, Fran. He hasn't put together much of anything. It's just been a big struggle for him.
Takes down and in, so 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year with Houston, he batted in the 2 hole.
I've noticed a lot. He's a very easygoing guy, very passive personality. I've seen him take a lot of 2-0 fastballs, 3-1 fastballs. And, oh, I'm just going, my goodness, you work for a count in favor like that. Nice catch.
Excellent play up there. Look at this.
He's got to tuck in his shirt. He's in uniform. Come on.
He's got a personality to boot. Tipping his cap. He had him positioned well. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Beltran. How about this shift for Beltran?
Well, he's been pulling all year, and I think that is one of the reasons why he hasn't been productive. See that swing right there? That's a ball away, a ball that you want to go into left center field with. And that's something that he does. We've seen him do it this year earlier. I just think he's pressing, and it just may be a hole too deep to get out of for this season. You never know.
Well, they're giving him a left side of the infield to bunt if he wants, but of course he's got 2 strikes now. He drives the ball deep right field. It's way back. Gone. Carlos Beltran, home run. It's been a drought in the home run department, but Beltran hits his 14th home run of the year and first since August 4th.
Well, what was I just saying, Fran? He may never get out of this hole. It's too deep. Look what happened. He got a fastball down the middle, belt high, and he just crushed it. Not a pitch that Tejeda wanted to throw there, but you got to hit it anyway. You got to hit those cripple pitches.
94-mile-per-hour fastball. Now with 2 out, Cliff Floyd's the batter.
Well, you can see right here, he wants the ball low and away, right down the pipe, belt high. And you just don't do that with big league hitters. So maybe that'll be something that'll get him going.
Yeah, Carlos Beltran, his 14th home run. By the way, Cliff Floyd leads all major league players in home runs, 5 and RBIs, 11 against the Phillies this year. But he pops it up. David Bell calling for it, and he doesn't make the play. He can't make the play. A huge break for Cliff Floyd and the Mets. David Bell didn't look comfortable when this baby was up in the air, Keith.
Well, he's calling for it. It's a still night. That's a sure glove in David Wright right there. I don't understand that. He fell back on his heels here. David Bell, excuse me.
So it's an error on David Bell, the batter now. Last week's player of the week, David Wright. As you look at it again, Cliff Floyd felt there was an out. It would be caught, and it wasn't. So the Mets see if they can capitalize on this break. David Wright takes a strike. Mentioned David Wright, player of the week last week in the National League.
And he's growing into his, I mean, he's become the star of this ball club.
Yes, and he's growing rapidly.
You can just see his demeanor. He's no longer that little bright-eyed, bushy-tailed rookie walking around the league first time. You know, he's very, very, very confident. And you can see right there, since the All-Star break, his numbers, he has just been phenomenal and really evolving himself into some MVP consideration.
I agree. He takes down low, so it's 1-1. He should get some votes for the MVP, especially if the Mets can win either the wild card or the Eastern Division title. Tejeda, I'm sure in the back of his mind thinking about that pop-up David Bell wasn't able to grab. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike on David Wright. He's 5th in the National League in hitting at .314. He takes a strike. He's a good 2-strike hitter.
Well, it's a fastball and got a little bit of the plate. Let's see. It was knee high. Outside corner, good pitch. David has a very good eye at the plate and a very good 2-strike hitter. Absolutely right for him.
In the minor leagues, he was a tough man to strike out. 1-2 on David Wright. They check Floyd. You feel a buzz here at Shea Stadium. Big series between the Phillies and the Mets, and this is the first game. Big home run by Carlos Beltran. Gets the Mets to within 2 of the Phillies here in the first inning. They go down 1-2-3 in the first inning. The tone has been set by the Phillies early on.
Well, Tejeda doesn't want to follow suit here with So's first inning, giving up a solo, then a 2-run home run.
David Wright is focused. 1-2 pitch. There's a fly ball, center field. Kenny Lofton drifting over, and he makes a grab for out number 3. So the Mets strand Floyd, but they get on the board here in the first inning. How they do it? Right there. Carlos Beltran's 14th dinger of the season. David Bell leads it off for the Phillies here in the top of the 2nd inning. And he takes a strike. Shea taking on David Bell. You see the score. Phillies on top of the Mets by 2. Some important numbers for David Bell right there. You know, 1 triple this year, and he scored 38 runs. He takes a strike. So Shea coming back after laboring in the first inning. The first 2 pitches here in the 2nd inning in the strike zone. Mike Lieberthal on deck. Ground ball is short. Reyes got him. Scored 6-3. 1 down. Let's go downstairs to Matt Loughlin. Matty?
All right, Fran, the Mets got some bad news regarding Mike Piazza earlier today. As you know, Piazza's been sidelined since the 16th of August with a fracture in his left wrist. He was hopeful of coming back, within the next couple of weeks, let's say within 2 weeks or so, and help the Mets down the stretch. But the bone's not healing as well as he would like or the doctors would like. And he says, basically, I'm just day-to-day. Would not speculate whether he's done for the season, but he was very, very disappointed with the latest outcome of the examination. He said you can't rush a broken bone. He'll just have to continue to work and hope that it gets back, and he gets back, and it heals in time for him to get back before the season comes to an end. But he was certainly downcast when given the news today that what he had hoped would be sooner rather than later becomes a later return for Mike Piazza. Back upstairs to you.
All right, Matty. Mike Piazza made the last road trip with the Mets and worked out prior to the games on the road. So wish Mike the best in his rehabbing. Mike Lieberthal got a base hit while Matty was chatting. And here's the bunted ball off the bat of Robinson Tejeda. So it's a sacrifice for the Philly pitcher. 2 down.
And a beautiful sacrifice. Things that keep you in a ball game and help you win a ball game. We're going to keep the bat level. Perfect bunt. Deadened it down the first base line. Not a chance.
So runner in scoring position for Jimmy Rollins. And talk about the buzz here at the ballpark tonight. The Mets 2005 attendance is up 405, 812. over last year's attendance. Right now they have 405,812. 2,304,314 fans have come to Shea Stadium this year as Jimmy Rollins pops the ball up in foul territory and out of play. And by the way, an announcement today, the Mets pennant race pack includes 13 remaining home games beginning September 13th. That's September 13th, next homestand, featuring matchups with their rivals, the Nationals, the Braves, the Marlins, and the Rockies. Now, your order with a non-refundable deposit towards 2006 season tickets includes the option to purchase the same seats for the all potential 2005 Mets postseason home games. So that's the pennant race pack. You'll hear more about that. If you want to order them, call 718-565-4348. Again, as the pennant race packs here at Shea Stadium. Expecting a big crowd again tomorrow night with Pedro Martinez on the mound. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jimmy Rollins. 2 balls and 1 strike.
There's Pedro. He's going tomorrow.
He'll be on the mound tomorrow night.
2 aces on the mound tomorrow. Brett Myers will go against Pedro. Excellent pitching matchup.
Pedro, one of the few pitchers who can draw a crowd most places. There's a ground ball up the middle. Oh, off the glove of Cairo. And Lieberthal comes in to score. So Jimmy Rollins, a leadoff hitter, picking himself up a base hit, his 36th RBI of the season.
Well, they were playing him for the pull, surprisingly. Rollins basically up the playing pretty much straight away, just out of the reach of Cairo. Just got a glove on it, couldn't keep it in the infield. So the struggles continue for So here in the second.
So it's 4-1 Phillies. And the batter now, Kenny Lofton. He's 1 for 1. He hit a home run over the Amtrak sign out there in right field in the first inning.
Now the Phillies have a running game. They're 3rd in the National League in running. And the young man on first base has 28 stolen bases and only been caught 5 times.
And Ramon Castro behind the plate for the Mets can throw. So pretty good matchup here. The key is now for Jay So to keep the runner close.
The Phillies have 83 stolen bases, but have the 2nd best stolen base percentage. They've been successful 78.3%.
Oh, what a jump that is right there. Can't throw him out. That was a huge jump off first base. Jay So thought they were going to get him.
Well, Castro throws well, and this is not, I mean, it's a good pitch for him to throw, Fran. It's up, but it was a great jump by Lofton, and the throw was right there, just beat it. Terrific jump right there, and Rollins just can fly.
So he's in scoring position for Kenny Lofton, and Lofton takes outside, so it's 2 balls and no strikes. Chase Utley to follow. Talked about Jay So laboring in the first inning. Once again here in the second inning, he usually gets the ball and gets right back on that rubber. Back to the first inning and take a look at that home run, Keith.
Well, it was a fastball, and we said right down the middle. Wanted to get it down and away. And he's, like we said, So has got to be someone that has to be on the corners and knees.
Fly ball left field. Cliff Floyd drifts over and makes the grab for on number 3. But the Phillies strike again. They pick up another run. They have a 3-run lead as we go to the bottom of the second. Back here at Shea Stadium, we go to the bottom of the second inning. Mike Jacobs leads it off. A lot of Mets shirts at Shea Stadium. And ball is fouled back by Mike Jacobs. 4 home runs in 4 games. What a way to start a major league career, Keith.
Well, to say the least, huh?
Wow.
So you'd be calling home to mom and dad the whole time, and in Arizona, he had to have a big phone bill.
I think they were there.
Oh, they were there?
They were there from Southern California.
Okay.
0-2 on Mike Jacobs, who was player of the year 2 years ago for the Mets in the minor leagues. Then one day he felt a lump in his back. Went to the trainer, said, "What is this?" And he said, they found out it was a cyst, and then there was a great indentation as time went on because the cyst caused so much trouble in his back. And he had it taken out, but he had all kinds of problems with his muscles in his back because of that cyst. But this year in Binghamton, he came back healthy, and he came back strong. Muscles atrophied because of the cyst. I mean, it was really a tough time for this young first baseman.
Well, you can see the dead pull hitter they believe that he is, and he definitely powered everything to right field in Arizona. And there it is again.
Hits the ball hard to right field, but Abreu is there in front of the Dunkin' Donuts sign. Makes the grab. One down. And a reminder, tonight MSG Sports Desk reports live on location from the US Open. Get in-depth coverage of all the day's tennis with highlights, interviews, and analysis. That's tonight on MSG. Mike Crispino will give you all the information originating from the US Open.
Victor Diaz had a nice August, hit .306 for the month of August.
Fouls that first pitch off. It's 0-1 on Victor Diaz. He's got 9 home runs and 29 RBIs. 13 doubles this year for Diaz, Keith.
Yeah, he's a fun, odd hitter. He can swing and miss and then hit a pitch off his shoelaces. Hit a rope somewhere. He's just one of those loose hitters.
And he picks himself up a base hit. So they call him Mini Manny after Manny Ramirez. He would remind you a little bit of Manny Ramirez, and he's on first base with his first blow of the night.
Well, the fastball meant to get up and in and didn't get it in enough. And there's the swing. Good top hand right there.
That's our Panasonic digital replay. So Diaz on first base. And the batter now, Ramon Castro. Ramon Castro, what a year he is having coming off that bench.
He's hitting .250, but that is so deceptive. It's a tough job to be a partial player, not a bench player, basically. And he's got more playing time because Piazza's been injured and has needed his rest because he's older now. But at .250 with 33 RBIs has been 33 very clutch RBIs. He's gotten big hits all season.
Those 33 RBIs are amazing because coming off that bench is so difficult. And he takes a strike, so it's 1-1 on Ramon Castro. He grew up idolizing Pudge Rodriguez. As you look at Jay So on deck. Juan Gonzalez played an important role in Castro's development as a ball player. Fouls it back. He became friends of theirs in Puerto Rico. His sister was the babysitter for Juan Gonzalez's children and Pudge Rodriguez's children. Look at those numbers with runners on as opposed to the bases empty.
He's been clutch.
They need him to be clutch right now because the Mets trail by 3. Robinson Tejeda gets Castro swinging a bad ball, and that'll do it for the Met catcher. 2 down.
Well, it's a breaking ball after all those fastballs. He threw a slider down and away, a curveball actually, out of the strike zone, and Castro was fishing.
So Jay So, he's the batter. The freest swinging pitcher in baseball. Watch him swing at everything. There's one. Foul off to the right side. Into the crowd down the right field line.
Well, So stays level with his bat and his swing, so he's got a chance. He's dangerous up there. He's not to be taken for granted.
It's the ball right back to Tejeda, and that'll do it for So and the Mets. They go quietly here in the second. Be able to score. We have a 4-1 ball game. Phillies on top of the Mets. Well, mark that date down on your calendar. It's going to be a big night here in New York, November 14th. You got to believe. For info or to make a reservation, 212-786-6185. It's all about Lake Tug McGraw and He was a terrific relief pitcher, and he brought some personality to the New York Mets and to the Philadelphia Phillies, but he'll always be remembered as a Met, Tug McGraw. And it's going to be a terrific dinner here in New York. And joining us now in the booth, a good friend of the late Tug McGraw, and of course, a good friend of ours here in the booth, a very favorite New York Met, Rusty Staub.
Good to be with you guys, Francis.
Rusty, always a pleasure. You know,
what about
guy,
me?
No, he doesn't want to. You don't want to be around Keith.
I get my chances. Don't worry.
Well, Rusty, you're going to tell us about the dinner on November 14th here in New York. It should be a terrific night.
Well, I'm pleased to be one of the honorees. Obviously, the New York Mets and Jeff Wilpon have taken this on as a major event for the New York Mets.
Jeff's going to be co-chair.
Oh, yes. And I know that Tim McGraw, as this pitch goes.
Oh, that's how Rusty used to pick it. Forget Keith. What do you think, Keith?
I think Orange made a few plays like that.
Just
he had his eyes closed.
Yeah, look at this. This is a bullet right here, Rusty.
Well, I'm glad I'm up here now. I think the great thing is that Tim McGraw is going to be there, and some of his friends who are from the country music business, they have their big awards the next night. Some of those friends will be there at the dinner. It should be a tremendous attraction for people who want to see baseball and country music and people that care about both.
Bobby Abreu takes a strike. Of course, Tug McGraw, the memories he brought here to New York are just unbelievable.
You cannot think about Tug McGraw without smiling. It's just one of those things that's in life. He really enjoyed life, and as that pitch is inside, I have to think back to, it's tough not to laugh. I mean, Tug was nuts. Let's face it, there's no telling what he was going to do. He hit me in the on-deck circle one day.
What do you mean? From the mound?
Yes, from the mound.
You were an opposing player.
I was an opposing player. He was with the Phillies. I didn't want Davey to pinch hit for me, so I walked away from the dugout. And Tug thought I was looking at his pitches, trying to time them. And he threw the pitch one hop and hit me in the leg. And then, let's watch this pitch. And then he had the most indignant look on his face you could have ever seen in your life. And he put his hands backwards on his hips. I almost couldn't hit. I mean, I laughed for 5 minutes. They had to like wait for the game so I could get my act together.
There's going to be a lot of memories and a lot of discussion. That night, November 14th, you saw the information as Bobby Abreu strikes out. There's 2 men down. And as he swings through that high fastball.
Got to like that high heat, but he didn't. He beat him on that pitch.
So 2 men are out here in the third, talking to Rusty Staub about the great dinner they should have on November 14th here in New York. All about Tug McGraw.
Should be a great evening. Hope you folks can join us. I know that, as I said, Tim is going to be there, and some people from the country music world are going to join us and perform, and it should be one great night.
And again, November 14th. So make your reservations now. Pat Burrell would like to be there right now because he's 0-2 with 2 men out. How about this guy, the way he can hit that ball, especially against the Mets?
Jeez, we keep him in the league, don't we?
Waste pitch right there. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Pat Burrell.
He's got that limo coming for every Met pitcher there is.
I know, he does. He does.
I'm telling you, he's got to hit 400 against him.
Well, Pat Burrell, of course, with the Phillies, and Tug McGraw ended his career with the Phillies. Pat Burrell's not going to end his career because he's got a 2-run homer in tonight's ballgame. Phillies have the lead. Rusty, always a pleasure to talk to you, and especially tonight about your former teammate, Tug McGraw. David Wright, last week's National League Player of the Week, leads it off, batting .314. He's 5th in the National League in batting average. He takes up high. If he get a base hit here, he'd be batting .315. So David Wright with a 1-0 count. Fly to center field his first time up and hits the ball hard. So he's batting .315, and more importantly, he's on first base with a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 4th. Now we'll go to our Aflac trivia questions.
We have Duck. Yes, we do. I love that, Duck. Who was the last Met pitcher to win 5 games in a month.
Shea does have a chance tonight, but want to see some strong hands? Watch this.
Well, this top hand, he's a top hand hitter. That slider caught the plate. Look at him, just that top hand comes over. He pulled that ball.
He uses his hands as well as Mike Piazza in Mike's prime. Mike Jacobs swinging through that heater above the belt.
Above the belt, and that's what we're talking about. He's a low ball hitter. We've seen so far a dead pull hitter.
0-1 on the young Met first baseman.
Oh, nice try right there.
Trying to stay upstairs on it.
And this didn't miss by much.
Jeez.
Let's see, this angle will not lie, and it missed. It missed. Good call.
1-1 now on Mike Jacobs. 2 years ago, the Mets minor league player of the year. Whoa.
Got to get back there a little faster. Jacobs needs a little bit of a tailor job on his pants. It's like baggy, like pajamas he's got on. Loose. Very few players wear them that loose.
I'm seeing more this year.
Yes. Not my cup of tea.
You grew up out there in San Francisco with the Giants. Oh, hey, I had them tapered. And there's a one-hopper to Utley at second. They go to second for one. Back to first, a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, this was all set up, Fran, by the fastball up and in, and he came with a changeup and got Jacobs out in front and hit the tailor-made one-hopper right at Utley. And this is automatic in the big leagues. And there you go right there. The slide by Wright. He's just not there in time. Oh, nice little lift there. Riznikov.
And Victor Diaz, who has one blow in tonight's game. He's 1 for 1. You see his numbers. 29 RBIs.
Good slider right there in the outside corner, knee high. This is right to the spot. I love this angle, and that missed. But hey, hang with them.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, down and in. Victor Diaz grew up in Chicago. As you look at Ramon Castro, Diaz went to Roberto Clemente High School in Chicago, Illinois. Fouls off a hanger. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Diaz. Diaz was an infielder when he broke into pro ball. Was a second baseman. They moved him to third. And the Mets said, here, try right field. On the job training in Norfolk. .95-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You look at the defense set up against Diaz. Even up all the way around. And he goes right center field. At least a single. Extra bases for Diaz. He'll go for 3. He's got good speed. The throw to third. Not in time. So Victor Diaz a triple.
Well, it's a hanging breaking ball on the outer half of the plate and up, and he goes right with it, stays level. Lofton can't make the backhand, and Diaz, busting out of the box from the get-go, makes his decision right there for 3. Let's see the throw in. Not a very strong throw, but nice hustle by Diaz from the right out of the box.
He can score a wild pitch or pass ball now with 2 outs. The batter Ramon Castro struck out back in the 2nd inning. One ball and no strikes on the Met catcher. He'll be followed by Jay Stowe. There's the base opener, and they're pitching to the 8th hitter, Keith.
Well, 4-1. I don't think you want to put another runner on base. It is the 8th hitter, even though Castro has been clutch all year. You just don't, you never know what can happen. I don't want, at this stage of the game, to have Jose, you walk, you got Jose Reyes leading off the next inning. I'd rather have the pitcher leading off.
Okay. So we'll see if the Mets can burn him. Lofton with a home run in his game. Diaz just hit a triple. 1-0 on Castro. Misses again.
Well, this is a good pitch to hit here. 2-0. Even though you're in the 8th position, I'd be more inclined to look for something out over the plate. Outer half going up the middle. Good slider right there.
84-mile-per-hour slider.
Just like a little cutter there. Starts on the outside corner and breaks out bad. We know Castro's a good fastball hitter. He likes that cheddar.
And he's a pull hitter most of the time. They're going away again.
Oh,
threw right by him.
Upstairs. Wanted to get it away and was up out of the strike zone. Right down the middle and up.
A little bit late.
That had lots of plate.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Castro fouls it back and out of play.
Very good 2-2 pitch right there. Up and in fastball.
We were talking earlier about teams that struggle on the road. Phillies with the losing record. The only team with the winning record, the Cardinals. They're 20 games over 500 on the road. The Cardinals are. Everybody else in the National League below 500. That's on the road.
It's amazing.
Here's a 2-2 pitch.
Ooh, just missed.
Oh boy. So now I'm getting a 3-2 count.
Just missed. I gotta believe he's going to come with a slider here, Fran.
He misses. He walks me to get Jay So. We saw Diaz with the lead off third base. They'll go with the simple signs.
Fastball away, slider. Called him off, wants to throw the slider. Hung it.
And it's hit way up in the air. Jimmy Rollins, the shortstop in shallow left field, makes the grab for out number 3. So Diaz is stranded here in the 4th. The Mets fail to score. They still need 3 to tie.
Well, we're back at Shea Stadium where dreams are made, and particularly for one young man from Bell Harbor here in New York, Steve DiMola, who had a chance to throw out the ceremonial first pitch, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But what a big span of time it is for you. Your birthday's tomorrow. You get a chance to throw out the first pitch. What a lucky guy you are.
Yeah, it was great throwing out that first pitch. I felt like I was on top of the world.
Well, you were on top of the mound, of course, and you threw a strike. And I got to ask you, were you nervous at all?
No, I really wasn't. My mom was more nervous than I was.
Well, Mom Pam is sitting next to Steve, and Dad Vito's behind me. The whole family's out here, and they're out here because what we're celebrating is life. You have won your battle with Hodgkin's disease, and you're getting ready to go back to school.
Yeah, it's going to be great for me to go back to school and see all my friends and my teachers. They're all looking forward to me going back. So am I.
Well, your good work and the good folks, the good doctors at Sloan Kettering have gotten you to this point. And GHI, their president, Frank Healy, has been kind enough to allow you to throw out the first pitch. It's actually his opportunity, but he always donates it to a patient. We thank him. So you're a big Mets fan. We know it goes back to your grandpa. What do you think about what the Mets are doing down the stretch here?
I think they're doing well. I hope they continue and go to the playoffs and hopefully make it to the World Series and take it home.
That would be every Mets dream. You lived out a bit of your dream earlier tonight. Steve, congratulations on that, but most importantly on beating the disease, and we wish you well the rest of your life.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Steve DiMola joining us here. A lot of smiles tonight, and that's what baseball, Sloan Kettering, GHI are all about, fellas.
You're right, Mary. That's a great story. And he did a great job throwing out that first ball wearing number 45. Well, Kenny Lofton is on second base with a double. Here we go, Keith.
Well, leadoff double, and it's the same pitch he had a home run with the first inning. And this gets over Diaz's head. Diaz not a natural outfielder.
So Lofton's on second base, 0-1 on Chase Utley, having a big year now for the Phillies, and he's going to pick up another RBI here. So the throw to the plate. Got him! How about that?
Oh, I don't think he had him.
Well, you know what?
The
umpire said you're out. He's out. I think the replay is going to show us something different about that throw from Beltran could prove to be the motivating force the Mets need to get going in this ball game. Lofton looked safe, but Beltran's throw made it look very close.
Now this is a fabulous throw by Beltran, and look, hits the cutoff man. The runner can't advance to second. Let's see, he's safe. Here's the turn by Lofton. Nice sharp turn, and Manuel gets run.
So Charlie Manuel's out of the ball game. He's got the hat off, and he is arguing. And it's the second time this year Veldon Colbreth has thrown Charlie Manuel out of a ball game. And Charlie Manuel, according to the replay, certainly has a legitimate gripe.
The only question I have on the slide, Fran, was did the foot come up? He comes in hard here. Does his foot get caught? His spike get caught here and his leg comes up?
Maybe.
It may have happened, and it may have been if it did.
It's a great call.
It's a great call. Here it is. He's out. Absolutely out. That is a fine call.
So forget the replay. Oh, no, you got to watch the replay. That'll show you the true story.
So the slide, his spike gets caught. So Field and Colbreth, there's the run of Charlie right there.
What do you think he said?
Oh, well. Cocktails after the game.
Second time this year he tossed him.
Well, there he goes.
Well, Charlie will see the replay in the clubhouse and see the foot off the ground. So, one out, outstanding throw by Beltran. Utley on first base with a single.
Like I said earlier, critical. Beltran hit the cutoff man with his strong arm. Utley was unable to advance to second base.
So Bobby Abreu is 1 for 2, takes outside. It's 1-0. Another look right here, Keith.
Well, there it is. His spike gets caught and comes up. He's out. He's out. That's a great
call.
Great call by Field and Colbreth.
He's getting comfortable throwing Charlie out of the ball game, though.
And he's safe if that foot doesn't come up. There's no question.
You saw the foot hit the ground, and then it came up.
There it is.
Hit the ground twice.
Great camera work, guys.
Well, these guys do an outstanding job here at Shea Stadium. It's 1-0 now on Bobby Abreu. So Jay So still in his ball game, but he is really laboring. He has thrown 81 pitches. See the 22 home runs by Bobby Abreu. Abreu has over 20 stolen bases. In fact, Willie Mays, Bobby Bonds, and Barry Bonds. 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases for about 6 years in a row. Abreu was loaded with talent. Fouls it back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. His dad, who was paralyzed, was a big baseball fan. Never got to see Bobby play in the major leagues because in the early 90s, his dad went for an operation in Cuba and he had 3 ulcers break during the operation, and he died on the operating table as you look at Padilla warming up in the bullpen.
Well, that's one of many right-handers the Mets have down there in that bullpen. As we said at the top before the game, the pregame, there's no left-hander in the Met bullpen. They have opted to, I guess, wait for the September 1st call-ups to get a left-hander. I'm sure they'll recall Ring and Koo.
2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, it's interesting. You watch Abreu, an outstanding major league hitter, at the plate. You look at his hands. His top hand is so relaxed.
He's got a very, very smooth swing. He's got rhythm, a nice rhythmic swing, effortless. He goes the other way naturally. He's just a fine hitter.
Look at how relaxed he is. They say it's the only way you can play this game. No matter what you're doing, you got to be relaxed. And you look at his hands when they're on that bat. you could go up and take the bat out right out of his hands. So Pat Burrell on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Abreu. It's a fly ball left field. Cliff Floyd right there makes the grab. Seemed to lose it momentarily out there. Was able to make the grab. Utley returns the first. 2 outs.
Well, with 2 outs back on the first inning, score 1-0, runner on. Burrell just got a down and in fastball and lifted this thing into the seats. Gave the Phillies a 3-0 lead, and there you see Burrell, active home run leaders against the Mets. Willie Stargell, of course, leads all-time home runs versus Mets with 60.
I believe Willie hit the first homer by a visiting team here at Shea Stadium. So it's 0-1 on Pat Burrell. He hit a home run and he struck out.
Can't forget about Utley here, and probably not going to steal. You don't want to get thrown out here and lose your big bopper here. You want him to swing the bat. One swing, it could be 6-1. Utley has 13 stolen bases on the year, only caught twice. But you've got to let your big guys swing here.
Utley on first base, 1 ball and 1 strike on Pat Burrell. First of 3 games between the Phillies and the Mets, and Burrell hits the ball hard in left field. So a base hit for the Philly left fielder, Pat Burrell. And the Phillies have runners on first and second, and the batter will be Ryan Howard.
Well, that's the 9th hit given up by So, and Willie's just trying to nurse through this inning here because So is leading off the next inning. He's going to be pinch hit for. He just hasn't had it today. And there comes Rich Peterson out there to talk to him, the pitching coach for the Mets. So he's 1 out from getting out of this jam. And again, I hate to beat a dead horse. I just can't emphasize enough Beltran's throw, hitting the cutoff man. So the runner Utley, who got the single, couldn't advance to second. He scores on that base hit right there. Those are the little things that win or lose you ball games.
Yeah, if Utley thought about second base, the ball was right at the cutoff man.
And here it is right here. And you'll see Jacobs come over in the cutoff position, and he hits the cutoff man perfectly. And of course, the ball comes through. But as a runner out of first base, you make your turn. You cannot go to second when the first baseman can cut it off.
So great throw by Carlos Beltran, but the Phillies are threatening here in the top of the 5th inning. Ryan Howard, their young first baseman, will be the batter. You got Utley on second base. Burrell on first. Nice crowd on him for the first of 3 against the Phillies. Pedro Martinez will toe the rubber tomorrow night here at Shea. 1-0 on Howard. He struck out in this ball game, and he is singled. Jay So has thrown 89 pitches. Upstairs, Keith.
Well, he's got a quick bat, doesn't he? This Howard. Look at this fast bat.
They say he loves that pitch from the belt down.
And he's a power guy, the guy you got to go upstairs, up and down the ladder with. And there's a 90th pitch.
One and one on Ryan Howard.
Yes, sir.
1-2.
This is a fastball in that had a little bit of the plate. No, that got the inside corner. That is a good pitch.
Huge pitch coming up. Mets got to stay close.
Got him.
Outstanding fastball right on the black. So Beltran's throw saved the day. So far, Mets still a 3 to tie. Well, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Shea Stadium. Back to the Duck, who was the last Mets pitcher to win 5 games in a month. Well,
I know the answer, so I won't cheat.
Al Leiter. June 1999. So the southpaw Al Leiter was the last Met pitcher to win 5 games in a month. Jay So is going to be out of his ball game. Talking to Rick Peterson, Kaz Matsui will pinch hit for him. And a reminder, again, the Mets pennant race pack. It's available. It includes 13 remaining home games beginning September 13th, featuring matchups with the Nationals, the Braves, the Marlins, and the Rockies. All of their rivals. Your order with a non-refundable deposit towards the 2006 season tickets include the option to purchase the same seats for all. That's all potential 2005 Mets postseason home games. Call now to order at 718-565-4348. Operators are standing by, or visit Mets.com. And Kaz Matsui pulls the ball foul. So it's 0-1 on Kaz Matsui, who in Phoenix keeps in a couple of pretty good games.
Yes, he did. He played well defensively, made some nice plays. Everybody played well in Arizona.
Oh, they did.
Was that a terrible ball club or what?
But yet, you know, it's in the middle of their lineup. They get some thunder, but everything was shut down for 4 games. 0-1 on Matsui.
You know, I don't. The Mets went there and did what they had to do.
That's
they
right.
Had a very bad ball club. They won 4 straight. Philly came in right behind them. What did they do? They lost 2 out of 3.
Yeah, the Mets played good ball, and the Diamondbacks didn't. The Mets caught the wave in Phoenix, and they just came out smoking. The Mets looked terrific against those Diamondbacks. 2-1 on Matsui. Jay So out of the ball game. Now it's going to be up to the Mets bullpen to hold these Phillies and see if the Mets can score some runs. Matsui chasing that high heater. Pops it up. Can of corn out there for Kenny Lofton. 1 down. And now take a look at the finishing line for Jay So, brought to you by OTB.
Well, it didn't start out good for Jay. 5 innings pitched, gave up a lot of hits, 10, and that's something he hasn't been doing. Again, no walks. That's typical Jay So. 6 strikeouts. But just too many base hits. 2 home runs hurt him.
And Jose Reyes will be the batter with 1 man out here in the 5th. Phillies with 10 hits so far in this game and 4 runs. Mets with 5 hits and 1 run. Here's the guy. We talked about it in the open. He plays well against the Phillies. The Mets usually win. Jose Reyes takes up high. A number of the Met hitters tonight chasing that high heater. Look at those numbers of Jose Reyes when he delivers. 438 average. It's Katie bar the door.
Tale of 2 cities, according to Marty Noble.
There's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike on Reyes. Carlos Beltran with a home run and a fine throw from center field tonight. Beat him with the heater.
There's so many guys that are low ball hitters today, and you can see the angle of the shoulders. The ball above the waist is going to be, you're going to get under it if you drop that back shoulder. And in this case, it's the left shoulder of Jose Reyes. Whoa, he wanted to go inside, and he missed badly.
So a full count now on the Mets shortstop.
You see Lieberthal set up in, and he just really got away from him. Don't want to walk Reyes. He's only got 20 walks on the season.
Leading the National League in stolen bases. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Line drive, base hit. So Reyes gets a bullet into left field. And the Mets have a base runner, and he's a good base runner.
Well, this is always a good sign for Reyes. He steps a little bit in the bucket when he stays back and waits and doesn't try to pull that outside pitch. This is what he has to do from the left side, and that is just good hitting.
So Lieberthal, who has a good throwing arm but has had trouble throwing out base runners, is catching for the Phillies tonight. Jose Reyes on first base. Miguel Cairo the batter. Reyes with the green light at all times. Cairo takes up high, 1-0.
Well, let's see how Tejeda pitches with a base stealing threat, a serious base stealing threat on first base.
A lot of pitchers with a guy like Reyes on first base. Pitchers tend to rush the ball to the plate. Catchers tend to try to overthrow the ball to second base. big lead for Reyes. He holds his ground, and Cairo taking his strike. So it's 1-1 on the Mets second base.
I would want Cairo to be swinging here. Don't, in this situation, you're down 3 runs. You got a speedy guy, your base stealing guy on first base. You're going to get a fastball. Want him swinging the bat. Base hit first and third.
Right back to the pitcher. Looks at second, goes to first. So Reyes makes it to second base, and Cairo's out, 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Well, he got jammed here severely on this fastball. Just badly jammed, and Tejeda had a shot at second base here. This is a double play ball. I'm sorry. And he played the safety first. Safety first. That could cost him a run.
We'll see if Beltran can do it again. So far, he's got a home run in his ball game. He made an outstanding throw from center field to cut down Kenny Lofton at the plate. Look at that shift with a runner on second base. I don't think they could beat Reyes to third. How about that on the pitch? On the pitch, David Bell was moving to third.
Let's watch again. Because you really don't want him to be doing that.
No.
You just lose him on the. Oh, that's too bad. Can't get it all. He didn't move that much. I know what you're saying. He took 2 steps to the right.
Look at it. And Reyes just faked him over to third base. Reyes causes havoc on the bases. A ball to Beltran, 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't know if Beltran's that much of a pull hitter. But they go by the tendencies, and they have all kinds of documents to support this defense. The Phillies do. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Foul off to the left side, not a play. How about the spray chart right there? 44 hits to right field. Only 14 to left field. 16 to center field.
See, man, I think that's been indicative of his season. I think Beltran has just been pulling too much this year.
And he pulled one tonight over the Amtrak sign out in right field. You see the defense. It's Reyes against David Bell in a foot race to third, if that happens. 1-2 pitch to Carlos Beltran. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Mets down 3-0 back in the bottom of the first, and that's what Beltran did with a fastball up and over the middle of the plate.
That's our game-shifting play brought to you by Nissan, who reminds you to shift the way you move through the world. And the Phillies got the shift on for Beltran. It's 2-2. 3-2.
Well, it gets a little interesting now. He's protecting a 3-run lead. You got a big bomber, left-hand hitter, and Cliff Floyd. One swing, this ball game could be tied.
And it's coming alive here at Shea on a Tuesday night, August 30th. National League East is heating up. So is the wild card. Big pitch. Hop foul and out of play. So we'll do it again at 3-2. There's that sweep swing right there. And has done a good job this year. Willie Randolph.
He has been steady and cool, and I just think he's done a terrific job.
He grew up a Met fan in Brooklyn, and now he's the skipper of the Mets. And a big crowd on hand. First of 3 against the Phillies. Time is called. Bieberthal wants to go out and talk to the pitcher, Tejeda. Keep in mind, Pedro Martinez will be on the hill tomorrow night here at Shea, so come on out and watch Pedro with his personality and his repertoire go against the Phillies. Then Thursday afternoon, the finale. Of course, the Mets will jump a plane and go to Florida for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As you look at our Delta Airlines schedule, the Marlins and the Mets will go at it over the weekend. So good baseball, and it's all about the East if you're a Met fan. Full count to Beltran. Hits it hard, left field, base hit. Here comes Reyes, and Beltran delivers again. And listen to this crowd.
Well, he stays level here. It's a ball away. Look at that. Goes right with the pitch and stays level. Watch his head on the ball. Look at that. It's going right with the pitch. And with Reyes out there, you can forget about it. And Tejeda, the pitch before, the batter before, played it safety first. If you see Reyes here, that's a foregone conclusion. And there it is, Fran.
Good hitting.
Mid-thigh, outside corner, going right with it.
No sweep in that swing. Reyes scoring. Beltran now on first base. The Mets now need 2 to tie. So Jose Reyes, that's the beauty about getting a hit with him on base, eh, Keith?
Well, any leadoff hitter that has speed, and most of them do, you always want, when we played the Cardinals back in the 80s, Vince Coleman and Ozzie Smith and Tommy Herr, my goodness. He had 3 guys he had to keep off the base.
And Reyes can run with anybody. Here we go. Cliff Floyd. The shift is on. Beltran with the lead off first, and Floyd hits a high fly ball center field, but it doesn't have the legs. And that'll do it for Floyd and the Mets. Beltran stranded, but he comes through again with a base hit, driving in Jose Reyes. It's now 4-2 Phillies. Well, that's a big number here at Shea Stadium, because it's all about the pennant race packs of 2005. Mets fans, you got to be here. Get your Mets pennant race pack, which includes the 13 remaining home games starting September 13th. Your order with the deposit towards the 2006 season includes the option. Now, that's the option to purchase tickets for all potential 2005 Mets postseason home games. That's the pennant race pack. And now to purchase your tickets, visit Mets.com or call 718-565-4348. Call now. Operators are standing by, and talk to them about the pennant race pack. A lot of excitement out here at Shea Stadium tonight, the first of a 3-game series. Mets trailing by 2. Nice crowd on hand. Pedro Martinez on the mound tomorrow, but Aaron Heilman set to go here in the top of the 6th inning. He throws a strike to David Bell.
Well, this is his situation, Aaron Heilman here. He is the middle reliever, the guy that comes in when it's tight. The game is within the balance, in the balance, whether you're losing or in front. So this is his situation here. He has just done an outstanding job. Only pitched twice on the last road trip. Hasn't pitched in 5 days, so he should be strong.
1 ball and 1 strike on David Bell. Aaron Heilman is one guy, Keith, you mentioned no left-handers in the bullpen. He's tough on left-handers because of his change. Oh, that's a severe jam shot. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Boy, if you're red hot and you got a bat you love and it's got nothing but hits in it and you do that, you don't like it. You just hate to give up that bat. And Wright, I mean, excuse not Wright. Bell has been red hot.
So it's 1-2 now on David Bell, whose dad Buddy's the manager of those Kansas City Royals. His granddaddy Gus Bell, a good major league player, and he pulls it foul. Big Met fan. Marcel Page has turned 16 years old today. I want to wish her a happy birthday as you look at our Jeep game summary.
Well, it's a 4-2 ball game. Lofton's been a big thorn in the Mets side with a solo home run and a double. Burrell, always a thorn, 2-run home run. Tejeda's pitched decent. Beltran, this is promising for the Mets, 3 for 3, home run, 2 RBI. Diaz again in the mix.
There's another broken bat. This ball stays fair. David Wright over to first, scored 5-3. 1 down. Aaron Heilman just broke 2 of David Bell's bats.
Well, he's got that sinking action for going to have ball run in on his hands. He'd be tough on right-handers.
And his changeup, you know, on the road, Keith, we saw him throw straight changes, 3-2 to left-hand hitters, and just eat them up. Time is called right now. Something with the home plate umpire.
And something in his eye.
Breath.
Just got to wonder if the bat, and I hope it wasn't any shaving from the bat. Get some Visine in there.
Think he's getting any sympathy from Charlie Manuel, the Philly manager in the clubhouse?
Well, there it is, the broken bat. Can't tell if any of
Could have been just a bug. You played in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes, I did.
Some bugs there.
Hot town.
Oh, boy.
In more ways than one.
We'll get into that at a different time. Yes. And the reminder, MSG Sports Desk reports live on location from the U.S. Open. Get in-depth coverage of all the day's tennis with highlights, interviews, and analysis. That's tonight on MSG. Mike Crispino over there watching all the top hands and slices, and Fuchs will interview John Abraham, Jets defensive end, who recently reported to camp. So a lot coming up after the Met game on MSG Network. Mike Lieberthal, the batter, with one out. Good pitch. Loves his changeup. He told me that's his best pitch.
Well, he's got the sinking action, and I've never seen a player, or very few, that turned a career around like he did.
Oh, I'm telling you, how about Jay So? Same thing. Base hit, center field. So Mike Lieberthal is on first base with his second hit of the ball game.
Not a bad pitch here. Look at that. Knee high outside corner, went right with it. A bunt situation here with one out.
So Lieberthal on first base. Robinson Tejeda, the batter. Here's a chance. If you're, well, Keith, you're the most aggressive guy I've ever seen charging a bunt. I would take a shot at second base. Lieberthal doesn't run that well.
Well, you've got a bunt in this situation with the first baseman has to hold the runner on, so he is invariably going to be the last guy in to cover this bunt. David Wright always is very aggressive. Look at this. He's extremely aggressive on bunts.
Oh, you know what this pitch would be? Breaking ball. 0-2 on a pitcher. You saw Jimmy Rollins on deck. Well, he was a relief pitcher. Aaron Heilman was his first year at Notre Dame. He said that helped him. But he was a dominant starter. 15-0 his senior year. Throws his changeup 3 different ways. Boy, David Wright is just on top of him.
As he should be.
You know what he should do? He should do what Keith Hernandez used to do. He should go to the right side of the infield and try to get that runner at second base. Never saw a third baseman do what you did when you came in and went to the left side. It'd be tough on a third base.
Well, Fran, fortunately, there's only one of me.
I'll tell you, that's what Davey said. Outside, Mr. Davey Johnson was in the ballpark tonight. And he was here courtesy of Pfizer Incorporated, and they were giving out the Comeback Player of the Year award, and they gave it to Cliff Floyd with the Mets. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Tejeda. And the ball's bunted to the right side. Jacobs thought one way, first base. Lieberthal is now in scoring position for Jimmy Rollins.
Well, here's the play setting up here, right down his throat, but he bunts to the right side of the infield. Had a shot at second, but Jacobs is, I don't know, is he an everyday first baseman?
He was a catcher.
Exactly.
And the reason he had the operation was because he had that cyst on his back and it fouled up his shoulder, so I'm sure he doesn't really have that strong arm right now. So you're going to go for the sure out right there.
Absolutely.
So Mike Jacobs waiting now as Aaron Heilman pitching to Jimmy Rollins. You get Jimmy Rollins, and then you have Kenny Lofton. Jimmy Rollins with a 262 average. Kenny Lofton 310. Runner on second base. He represents a big run out there. There's that changeup again. Talking to Heilman before the ball game, Keith, he told me that 3-2, he could throw his changeup just as quickly as his fastball. He could go to his changeup. He said, I have all the confidence in the world in that pitch.
I believe that, absolutely. That's why he went 12-0 in college. I bet you he just drove those college hitters crazy.
There's a heater, 92. Now that must have looked 102.
up and out of the strike zone. And that's what they say Rollins has been doing, is swinging, not bringing the pitch down.
So what would you do if you had that report?
Up the ladder.
Oh, yes. 1-2 on the Philly shortstop, and they go up the ladder, but misses, so it's 2-2.
Well, this game started out like the Phillies were going to just tear into the Mets, and Mets have been chipping away here. Team is settled in.
See the defense set up, even up all the way around. I'll tell you what, I thought Ramon Castro thought it was a strike. I thought it was a strike.
You did?
Yeah. Where'd that pitch go?
I thought it was in the dirt.
Was it?
We'll see.
Take a look at it again.
You tell me.
Yeah, you're right. It's in the dirt. You know what? Gotta get the eyes checked.
No, full of.
Jeez. I'm looking over the top of Ramon Castro. It's 3-2 now. What do you call for it? Change?
Yes.
I agree.
And he missed with it.
Out of the strike zone. So you got runners on first and second. Kenny Lofton the batter.
But I would rather have. I'm not second guessing the pitch. I mean, I said I would call a change too. But Lofton has been swinging a good bat. Rollins hasn't. That was the out to get. Now you got to worry about this veteran hitter who's been in pennant runs before, and he's shown it tonight what he can do.
They told me when he was in the American League in his prime, he was the best player pound for pound in the American League. He was in his prime. No longer in his prime, but still could do some damage. He hit a home run tonight. He takes outside. So it's 1 ball and no strikes on Kenny Lofton. I know, talking to some of the Phillies before the ball game, they were thinking that, you know, with the Mets without a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen might benefit the Phillies as Rick Peterson goes out to talk to Aaron Heilman.
Well, the Mets thinking is that they've got Padilla, excuse me, and Heilman who get lefties out.
Right.
So they're going to try to just ride it out. But still, there's got to be a left-hander somewhere. You know, you got Abreu, you've got Utley, and you can see one of our keys right there. No lefty in the pin. You can turn. There's Steve Traxel. Turn Rollins around his bad side, right-handed, he's a switch hitter. You got Lofton hitting left, Utley, Abreu, Brian Howard. There's a lot of lefties in the line.
As you see the runners on first and second, 2 men out. We're in the top of the 6th inning here at Shea Stadium. Lofton takes off the plate outside, so it's 2 balls, no strikes.
Lofton looks real good at the plate. I mean, that was a baiting changeup, and he just took it with perfect balance. This is a very dangerous hitter right now.
2-0. I'd go with that changeup again. It's got to be sitting on a heater. Change up, pops it up, center field. Good pitch, Aaron Heilman. Phillies strand 2, fail to score. It's 4-2 Phillies, and we'll be back. Oh, David Wright will lead it off, and he has impressed the future Hall of Famer Mike Piazza. That's our Dodge quote book right there.
Well, I have to tend to agree. His potential is unlimited, and it's just blossoming. I think it is every game, every week that goes by, every month. We've just seen him grow this season. And I couldn't agree with Mike more.
And Mike Piazza was a strong hands hitter. Hit the ball a long way, and David Wright uses his hands like Mike Piazza. David's 1 for 2, and he takes up high. By the way, he's in the top 10 in hitting, and if he gets a hit now, he'll be batting .317, as you see Rick Peterson talking to Aaron Heilman. So it's 1-0 on David Wright. He'll be followed by Mike Jacobs. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Good inside strike right there. Fastball up and in. Perfect. And smart for Wright. He couldn't handle that pitch. Take it. Right back in. Beat him.
Tejeda so far has thrown a good ball game as you look at Fultz and Lopez. Double barrel action in the Philly bullpen. You want to get to these Phillies before they get to their 8th and 9th inning, because they got some tough guys coming out of the bullpen, especially in the 9th. Billy Wagner.
Oh,
threw it right by David Wright at 94 miles an hour, 1 down.
Well, went right inside aggressively for 3 strikes. He wanted it away and got it in. Set up outside corner. Oh, right down the middle, Fran, and beat him.
So David Wright back in the dugout. Mike Jacobs the batter. Reminder about that pennant race pack. That's the Mets pennant race pack, and includes 13. That's 13 remaining home games beginning September 13th, featuring matchups with those Nationals, Braves, Marlins, and Rockies as Jacobs takes the ball. Your order with a non-refundable deposit towards 2006 season tickets. That's 2006 season tickets. Includes the option to purchase the same seats for the all potential 2005 Mets postseason home games. And call now to order at 718-565-4348. Operators are standing by, or visit Mets.com. That's the Pennant Race Packs 2005. Nice crowd in here tonight. Mets are expecting a big crowd tomorrow night for Pedro Martinez and the Mets against the Phillies. It's 3-0 now, and Mike Jacobs is 0 for 2. Fly to right field, hit into a double play.
Well, Tejeda has yet to walk anybody in this game. And just walked his first.
How about that? That'll bring up Victor Diaz. So Mike Jacobs walks. Victor Diaz will be the batter. And you just saw Mark Bombard in the Phillies dugout. Charlie Manuel thrown out of the ball game early on today. A play at home plate. We thought initially, like Charlie Manuel, that Kenny Lofton was safe. But after looking at the replay, he was out. Rich Dubé, the pitching coach for the Phillies there. Victor Diaz has a single and he has a triple in his game. He takes the pitch off the plate outside. Victor Diaz last September against the Cubbies had a big blow that broke the heart of the team he rooted for growing up in Chicago. After the game, they said, "Did you feel bad?" He said, "Nope. They had a chance to draft me and they didn't." He fouls the ball back. 1 ball and 1 strike. This will be Tejeda's 100th pitch, Keith.
Well, that's why I think they had the relief pitchers, the 2 out there in the bullpen, warming up. Might be his last inning. And there they are. Phillies have 3 lefties in their pen and 3 righties. Unusual.
This is going to be a 6, 4, 3 double play. So Tejeda gets the pitcher's delight, and that'll do it for the Mets. After 6, they need 2 to tie. Well, folks, New York Rangers season tickets and partial plans are on sale now. Experience the excitement of 44 home games and exclusive benefits as a member of the Rangers subscriber family. Or select the 14-game mini plan to purchase season tickets or mini plans. Visit NewYorkRangers.com or call 212-465-6073. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Chase Utley's the batter. He's 1 for 3, and he just took a ball. As you can see, Robinson Tejeda.
What is he doing?
I'm assuming he's out of the game. If he's not, there's a problem. 2 balls and no strikes on Chase Utley. Utley's had a very solid year with the Phillies, swinging that bat. Tejeda in the dugout looks like he's staying in the game. Maybe there's congratulations about that double play.
I think, oh, that might be. You know, it was over 100 pitches.
Oh.
There's Brian Matson. That's their big setup man. Big hook. Got a big curveball. Ooh, nice swing.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chase Utley. Bobby Abreu to follow. Change up. This is down low, so full count on the Phillies second baseman. Jay So started this ball game tonight. He labored. Didn't have his real good stuff. Robinson Tejeda, his competitor as a starting pitcher with the Phillies, has looked good. Utley fouls it off. The Phillies with 11 hits, 4 runs in this game. The Mets with 7 hits and 2 runs.
Well, the Phillies have left 7 men on base here through the first 6.
Oh boy, upstairs off the plate. So the Phillies have their leadoff man on here in the 7th inning.
Well, a good at bat by Utley, and this brings up the very dangerous Bobby Abreu. And this is a situation where a situation hit here. Try to get something to pull in the hole or drive in the gap. Set up a 1st and 3rd situation and break this ball game open.
Willie Randolph wants a ground ball double play. Bobby Abreu can run. He's the hitter. And they check Utley at first base.
Well, leadoff walks will always find a way of scoring. 60% of the time, that is the percentage. A leadoff run scoring, a leadoff walk scoring.
Abreu takes ball 1 from Aaron Heilman.
There's the defense set up right there, pretty much straight away.
Abreu can run. He's the 6th most difficult to double up in the National League, and he takes a ball, so it's 2-0.
And that's just very good balance. You can see him right there motioning with his hands. Stay back, stay back. I thought he took this pitch with a great. He's a little out in front. And this pitch just sinks a little bit outside. And now he's in a position to hit here, 2-0.
Abreu has 1 hit in tonight's ball game, batting .128 against the Mets this season. He has struggled coming into tonight's action, 5 for 39. He fouls that pitch off, so it's 2-1 on Bobby Abreu.
Well, he got his fastball that he wanted, 2-0. But the ball's up and away and just gets under it a little bit. And that's a strike, too. That's a letter-high strike.
So we'll do it again at 2-1 on Bobby Abreu.
You can hit and run here with a guy that handles the bat real well.
See the lead for Chase Utley. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, now you can put him in motion. You got a guy up here that has a good eye at the plate. 3-1. He has 90 walks on the season and no one up in the Met bullpen.
And he's hit safely in 20 of his last 24 ball games. Bobby Abreu has. So 3-1 on Abreu. Heilman from the set position, and he gets that fly ball deep left field. Cliff Floyd going back. Does he have room? Yes. At the wall, Cliff Floyd makes the grab. Chase Utley hustles back to first base. It was once said, Keith, this game's a matter of inches.
Ball just gets under enough. This is a good pitch to hit. Good swing. Just got under it. He has a little bit of a lift swing here. And that's the reason right there. A little bit of an uppercut. In Philadelphia, that ball's out of here.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt about it.
Boy. Right there in front of the Bud Light sign, as you see Cliff Floyd making that grab. Now it's going to be Pat Burrell. He's 2 for 3, and he swings through a changeup. 0-1. It's funny when you look at Pat Burrell and you're a Met fan, you think of how he's done damage to the Mets. If you look at that last pitch. But coming into tonight's action this year, he's 8 for 42.
Well, he's cooled off.
Oh, yeah. But he hit a home run tonight.
You know what a lot of that is? I think you wear out a team. You don't even know you're doing it.
That's
and
right.
Then you read it in the paper because the media is going to mention someone doing that's going to mention. You read it and you start thinking about it, and sure enough, you go in the tank.
So it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Pat Burrell, and a fastball for a strike. So it's 1-2. You see runs batted in our National League leaders, and he's right there.
Got a whole month to play. He's got a good shot to get 120 RBI, have himself just a terrific season. He already is having one right now, that's for sure.
Chase Utley gets back. So 1-2 on Pat Burrell. Mentioned that home run. It was a 2-run home run earlier tonight. And it's misses outside. As Keith mentioned, good low ball hitter. I'll never forget the home run he hit off Armando Benitez here into the right field bullpen on a 3-2 slider. He gets Burrell out front, ball hit the Beltran out there in center field. Beltran's on the first. Not in time, and it gets past Mike Jacobs. So Ramon Castro hustles down and plays to Karam.
Fastball, look at that, he had to reach for it. That's a good pitch right there, low and away. Burrell's just so strong. Tell you what, he had a shot to throw him out if he makes the pick. Nope, he's safe. Here we are again. Oh, he would have beat it. Tough play for Jacobs. But Beltran again showing the strong arm.
So that'll bring up Ryan Howard. You got Chase Utley still at first base. 2 men are out. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The Mets trail the Phillies 4-2. Howard fouls off the first pitch. So now we'll see, as you look at Howard's impressive numbers since coming from the minor leagues, we'll see if they go upstairs on Ryan Howard. As Keith mentioned, he had a real bomb in Arizona Sunday night against the Diamondbacks. Here's that fastball upstairs, Keith.
And away. He started out too quick there. He committed way too early. It was a pitch out of level plate.
He had 57 hits coming into this game. 20 of his 57 hits this season have been for extra bases. Got him. Great change by Aaron Heilman. Fans are into it. They're trying to get the Mets into it. They need 2 to tie. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by British Airways. Business class is different on British Airways. And by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's moving forward. And that's what the Mets are going to try to do right now as they take on new pitcher, Keith.
Ryan Matson, their setup man. He's fantastic. Leads the National League in innings pitched, relievers. Good curveball, good changeup, a real herky-jerky motion.
And Castro down the left field line it goes. Ramon Castro on his way to second base with a stand-up double.
Well, Ramon continues to do the job. First ball, fastball hitting. You saw the catcher set up, wanted it away. Fell off the line. No chance at this ball. Almost. Showed good range there. And this is right down the line. And even with Castro's wheels, that's 2.
So Ramon Castro on second base. Marlon Anderson will be the batter. What a year he's having coming off that bench. 19 pinch hits. The buzz here at Shea Stadium. Marlon Anderson steps out. He was tearing it up as a pinch hitter. He has 17 pinch hits now, tearing it up. The Mets are second in the league in pinch hits, second to the Dodgers. You saw Jose Reyes on deck. Marlon Anderson came out of the chute just dominating as a pinch hitter. He takes outside. Some bad blood still with Marlon Anderson concerning the Phillies. He didn't like it as you look at his numbers. When he ended up leaving the Phillies, they were knocking his defense. Players say they feed off the crowd here at Shea. Foul back, 1-1.
Well, the Met bench has just been fantastic this year. They've all chipped in, and you know, Willie Randolph has gotten them all a little piece of playing time, enough to keep them active. And you see Diaz and Jacobs, and there's Padilla and Hernandez down the bullpen. I got to believe it'll be Hernandez coming in here.
They're bunching Anderson in the middle in the infield. 1 ball and 1 strike on the former Philly. Castro with the leadoff second base. Rollins, the shortstop behind him. 2-1. Players say that this stadium, the crowds here in New York, the noisiest in the National League, Keith.
I thought when I came up, it was the noisiest too. When I first made my turn through, that was back in '74 when the Mets were very competitive. Seaver and Matlack Kuzma. They were filling them up every time.
Swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Marlon Anderson.
Oh, low ball hitter Marlon swings right through the fastball, belt-high fastball.
Looks like he wants to try and hit it out.
He's got to get a base hit.
Yes.
And keep this, make it 4-3 and get on that base.
And Reyes is next. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. 7th inning, Shea Stadium.
Well, he's telling Reyes something there. If there's a walk, I think he's going to let him swing the bat.
There's a high fly ball. Deep right field. But Abreu's got room in front of the Dunkin' Donuts sign. And Marlon Anderson just missed. But on the fly ball, wise decision. The runner on second base tags up. Ramon Castro goes to third.
Well, Marlon, you can see his reaction. He knew he just missed that fastball. 3-2. And as you said, now you know he's under the ball to make the catch. You run back and tag up. And Castro's on third base.
That's good base running because a lot of guys.
I cannot believe they're playing the infield in on the right side. Now they better move Utley back. My goodness.
And they got David Beltran. I mean, this kid just creates chaos with his speed at the plate. Jose Reyes takes up high. So it's 1-0 on Reyes. David Bell's on the grass. Middle infielders are back. Ryan Thompson almost even with first base. Shea has come alive. Marlon Anderson just missed. Ramon Castro did. He doubled and moved to third on a flyout. Reyes fouls it back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jose Reyes. Cairo to follow.
Bell playing in, I think, too much.
Reyes taking a shot that way, but foul.
Now Bell can move back at third base, and Ryan can move back at first. But as a result now, a ground ball. But they're going to concede the run here. They're going to play the infield back. So this is the situation where you're 1-2. You got to shorten up on your swing, make contact, put the ball in play, get this run in at the minimum.
You saw Mike Piazza looking on. The news out of Shea Stadium tonight is he will be out. They're not sure when he'll be back. Like Mike said, when you have damage to that hand, it's going to take a while. Mike watching a team that he grew up, his favorite team was the Phillies. Watching his Mets try and tie this baby up. Reyes, foul ball.
Pretty good curveball right there. And I got to believe we're going to throw him another one.
Chances of him getting him at first base are going to be very slim if this stays fair.
Look at this hammer. I got to believe he's going to throw him another one. We all know that Reyes is not a great breaking ball hitter, at least not at this point in his career.
He's better than he was early in the year.
Absolutely.
Jose Hoffman looking on.
This kid's, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Batting gloves on. He's ready to go. 1-2 on Jose Reyes. 1 out. It's a pop-up.
That's not.
Shall left field's not going to score him. Is right. Castro holds his ground at third base, so a big out right there. And so it'll be up to Miguel Cairo.
We got him with the changeup there, Fran. And let's see where the location is. Ooh, sinking low and away. Good pitch. And this certainly is not deep enough to score Ramon Castro. Here's the pitch. You can see he's out in front. Fooled by the changeup. Kept his head down, just got under it too much. So that's a big run left out there. This is a situation where the Mets have just been chipping away, get within one run here. It's a big 2-out RBI situation for Cairo here.
Cairo 0 for 3, grounded out all 3 times. He takes a strike. This is the one department that William Randolph would like to see Miguel Cairo improve upon, and that is driving in a run when you have to. That's the potential run. Ramon Castro. 0-2. Aaron Heilman waits. The rally caps are out. David Wright looking on. Setup pitch, fastball inside.
Well, with Beltran 3 for 3 in the on-deck circle, this is the out. He's going to go get Cairo. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, but this is the out. What's that? Eeny beanie, chili beanie? The spirits are about to speak.
1-2 on Miguel Cairo. Fouls it off to the right side.
Wanted to come inside and missed. Saw Lieberthal set up in, got it out over the middle. Cairo definitely going that way.
Fingernail biting time at Shea. Castro with the leadoff third. 1-2 on the batter, Miguel Cairo. Ryan Madson on the relief. Hit him! That'll bring Beltran to the plate. So the Mets have runners on the corners for Carlos Beltran.
Well, this could be costly. Got Cairo on the elbow. Wanted to come inside. Too much. So it sets up for Carlos Beltran, friend.
Beltran with a home run in tonight's ball game. Saw his numbers. And Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, going out to talk to Ryan Madson. So when play resumes, the situation here at Shea is you see Roberto Hernandez throwing in the bullpen. Ryan Madson will pitch to Carlos Beltran. Beltran in this ball game hit a home run in the first inning. Had an infield hit in the third, a single and an RBI in the fifth. Could it be one of those nights for Beltran?
Well, we're getting down to the stretch run here. Fran, this is a big as at bat as Beltran has had as a Met.
The Mets have settled for one run. Really like to take a couple more than that. So here we go. The crowd is into it. Ball one. Cliff Floyd on deck. Ball two. Well, you got Cliff Floyd on deck. I gotta believe they're thinking fastball. You got runners on first and third, and Floyd on deck. Keith.
Oh, they got three lefties in their bullpen, and they got no one up for Floyd.
It's all up to Ryan Madson. Here we go. 2-0. 3-0. How about this?
This is Archie Belmadrell's doing the tighten up.
Not the fans.
Three left-handers in your bullpen, and you don't have anybody up. That's pretty amazing.
Ball four. bases are loaded, and listen to Shea Stadium.
I mean, Floyd is hitting .238 against left-handers. Remember, earlier in the year, he was wearing them out. So it's been a struggle for Floyd against lefties late in the season.
Cliff Floyd, as he's thinking big because the bases are loaded with Mets. Floyd has 5 home runs and 11 RBIs against the Phillies this season. Pitching from the stretch, Ryan Madson, 2 outs, 7th inning.
Misses.
Breaking ball misses.
And misses high, and that is a hitter's delight now. He's got the bases loaded. The tying run is on second base. The go-ahead run on first. He just walked the batter on 4 straight pitches, and he misses with a hook.
And he's got to give him a piece of cheese here.
And you got Real Cormier down there, and Cliff Floyd lifetime is 1 for 18 against him.
Yeah, really a struggle against Real Cormier. But it's Madson against Floyd.
Ooh, good pitch to hit. He beat him with a fastball.
And he caught a break, but that baby floating into the crowd and out of play behind a third base dugout.
Well, there's Fultz, and Fultz has already been throwing, so he's probably already warm, but the horse has already left the barn.
7 out of his last 9 pitches were balls from Ryan Madson. 1-1 pitch. Ball 2.
So what's he going to do here? If he wants to throw a curveball or a changeup, which he hasn't been getting over, and miss, and it's 3-1.
Got to challenge him. Willie doesn't want Cliff Floyd overswinging. He said, just go out there and throw the head of the bat on the ball. Use that whole field. Floyd asked for it and got time.
And that's a good time to step out in the pitcher. You got a pitcher laboring out there. Don't let him try to find his rhythm. Step out, try to break up his rhythm even more so than it is right now.
Met fans is living and dying with their Mets tonight against the Phillies. He beat him again.
Fastball up and away. And as you said, Fran and Willie, all that's needed right here is a base hit. And he did get beat a bit, didn't he? All that's needed here is a base hit, tie the ball game up. You're back in the hunt.
Well, Willie Randolph looking on. Willie has worked personally with Cliff Floyd about that. Fans are on their feet at Shea. 2-2 pitch. Oh, ball 3. Ball gets by Liebenthal. It's a 4-3 ball game. How about that? So Ramon Castro, after leading off the inning with a double, finally scores, and the Mets trail by 1.
On his third pitch, a changeup. This kid has a tremendous curveball, and he throws his third pitch, and not even close. Fran, you wouldn't even have blocked that.
You see Castro scoring. Now the infield's back, the outfield's deep. 3-2, 2 outs. Right to follow Floyd. Got him. So Ryan Madson gets Cliff Floyd to foul tip the ball into Mike Lieberthal's glove. But the Mets pick up another run. We go to the 8th. They need 1 to tie. Well, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. You're looking at LaGuardia Airport, our Delta Skycam. And it's all about the upcoming schedule. Pedro Martinez tomorrow night will toe the rubber here at Shea Stadium. So come on out, watch Mets baseball. The Mets and the Phillies in a big series starting tonight, ending Thursday before the Mets go on their road trip. Juan Padilla, the new pitcher, Keith.
Well, it's one of the guys, one of the right-handers that gets lefties out. Went into the thinking of the Mets not opting for just no left-hander in the bullpen. We felt with Heilman and Padilla, they could be their guys that come in and get the left-handed out.
In the last series in Philadelphia, Braden Looper late in the ball game got his nemesis, Bobby Abreu, twice in key spots. Take a look at the left-handers, right-handers for Juan Padilla. Those are the numbers.
And they're significantly different. The 182 is outstanding.
0-2 on David Bell. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bell has a single in his ball game. He'll be followed by Mike Lieberthal, who's having a good night. So it's Padilla against David Bell. Bell pops it foul and out of play. And a reminder, MSG Sports Desk reports live on location from the U.S. Open. Get in-depth coverage of all the day's tennis with highlights, interviews, and analysis. That's tonight on MSG Network. They'll come right after the New York Mets ball game here. Kind of an unusual 3-game series, but it turns out to be a huge series for both these teams at Shea Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the most dominant personalities to play in New York will be on the mound tomorrow night for the Mets, Pedro Martinez. Well, how about that for a sinker? Pulled foul. 4 runs on 11 hits for the Phillies, 3 runs on 8 hits for the Mets. Roberto Hernandez, he's loose. You can get loose in a hurry tonight.
This kind of weather, it's tough, the humidity, but I'd rather have it like this than freezing.
Got him. Padilla gets Bell. 1 down here in the top of the 8th.
Well, the bottom drops out right here. Very good pitch, outside corner too. Oh, beautiful pitch.
So now Padilla will take on Mike Lieberthal, who's batting 8th tonight for the Phillies. Lieberthal with a couple of blows. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles. He scored a run. He takes a strike.
Ugeth Urbina.
Big deal. Polanco going to Detroit for Urbina, and Urbina's pitch lights out for these Phillies. Lieberthal gets out in front. It's a fly ball. Easy play for Cliff Lloyd. 2 down. And it's Billy Wagner.
He will be in for the 9th if they have the lead.
He's been timed at 100 miles an hour. If you don't believe that, it's at least the high 90s. Endy Chavez, who came over from the Washington Nationals earlier this year for Marlon Byrd. And the Phillies are very happy with this acquisition.
He's got lots of talent. He can fly. He's a good hitter. Oh, good pitch.
Nasty pitch right there. Started Endy Chavez off with a strike.
Look at this thing just sink. Wow, that's a good pitch.
You know, Keith, you talk to these pitchers and pitching coaches today. They talk about there's a bounce in first. Jacobs, nice play. And that'll do it for the Phillies. Padilla comes in, sets the Phillies down. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. David Wright will lead it off. Well, the Phillies are on top of the Mets here in the bottom of the 8th inning at Shea Stadium. Now, up in a moment, the wild card standings, because Florida won their ball game 7-6 over St. Louis. They're a half game out. The Mets are a game and a half out tied with Houston. Houston's winning tonight. Washington 2.5 games back. They are beating the Braves 3-2.
In the 7th, yes.
And Houston's winning 5-1. Ugi Urbina on in relief, Keith.
Well, you see his numbers.
Now you see David Wright's numbers, batting .315. He's 1 for 3. He's got a single in tonight's ball game. So it's the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Wright to be followed by Jacobs and then Diaz. Urbina's outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's Mike Jacobs. Battle of the bullpens now. Ooh. That's a heater.
Right on the outside corner.
David Wright takes a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillies with the 11 hits, the Mets with 8. David Wright takes outside. So Urbina, that ball was timed at 81 miles per hour. At one time he'd blow the ball by it. Tom Glavine remembers those days. 2-1 on Wright. Oh boy. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Well, David Wright, we've talked about it before. They got their wrestling caps on. Okay. Got a very good eye at the plate. Very patient.
And the 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. So the Mets have their leadoff man on here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, exactly what you don't want to do. Leadoff walk. Mike Jacobs is 0 for 2 tonight. Hit into a double play back in the 4th. Walked in the 6th.
Urbina really not overpowering anymore. And you wonder, will he go downstairs against Jacobs?
So he's still got that split finger. That's an out pitch of his. And we know that Jacobs is a dead pull hitter.
And he likes that ball downstairs.
And likes that fastball. Like all young hitters.
He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's also got a walk. He's bunting and he takes a strike. So I guess Willie wants to move. They're going to try to move David Wright with the bunt as Braden Looper gets up to throw.
So Willie playing conservative here. When you're at home, you play for the tie.
Here goes David Wright. The throw from Lieberthal. Anytime. How about that? David Wright with a stolen base as Willie Randolph takes the bunt off. Aggressive managing by Willie Randolph.
Well, what a throw here by Lieberthal. Let's watch. Not close. I thought he beat it.
Good call.
That is as close as it gets.
Nice call by Larry Young, the second base umpire. Willie Randolph and Sandy Alomar, accomplished base stealers, going to the stolen base, and it could prove to be a big one. So Jacob now can swing the bat. It's 0-2 on the Met first baseman. Way outside, 1-2. Some big hits on that last road trip Jacobs did.
Oh,
swung on and missed at a fastball, so Jacobs goes down. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
well, just a fastball. Gee, that's down in his zone too. We swung right through it. He's not beat on this pitch. Well, he was beat out a little bit. What did he, Fran?
Yes, he was.
Well, it's up to Victor Diaz now.
Diaz 2 for 3. He's got a single and he's got a triple in his game. He'll be followed by Ramon Castro.
It's just a huge strikeout right there. I mean, stating the obvious, but that was just a big strikeout.
Diaz against Urbina. Whoa, way up and in.
That's fair game. Pitching Victor inside.
Hard stuff.
And that's the book on Victor. Pitch him in to set up the breaking ball away.
So Victor Diaz now with a 1-1 count. 1 out. Bottom of the 8th inning. Fans wait. strike two, so 1 ball and 2 strikes on Victor Diaz.
Well, fastball away, looking right to the glove. Up a little bit on the corner. 2 fastballs in and then a fastball away.
Nina looking into the signs as the Mets fans continue to wait. 1 and 2 on Diaz. Outside. That's where Diaz does his damage. The pitch from the middle of the plate out.
That's a tough pitch right there. Very close. It was a ball. But that's a good pitcher. Another fastball. I just missed outside. Yep. And this is what it's all. Calm down. It's only a game.
2 and 2 on Victor Diaz. 3 and 2.
Boy, it drives managers crazy.
Oh.
Pitching coaches crazy.
And sometimes fans. Crowd getting into it again. Full count on Victor Diaz. Fouled out of play. It was a heater.
Well, he's not throwing him anything but fastballs. This is the 6th pitch of the at bat. It's been all fastballs.
Must have been a phone call. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Victor Diaz from Urbina.
Oh,
Back again.
good cut. This is not a good pitch. It's right down the middle and up. And he got away with it. Good cut by Diaz. Diaz, excuse me. That's the proper pronunciation. Diaz. I should know that.
All right.
I have a Z at the end of my name, too.
And a 3-2 pitch to Victor Diaz. Ball 4. So the Mets have runners now on first and second, and the batter will be Ramon Castro. Jose Hoffman coming out on deck. Here's that last pitch. Fans on their feet at Shea.
Oh, she's a Met fan. Tell you what, I would have Wagner up. I don't care. This first game is so important.
I agree.
That I would have give this guy one more hitter here. It's a right-hand hitter. And I don't care if Willie has Gerald Williams and Woodward on the right side. I bring in my stopper to win this first game of the series.
Ramon Castro doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. He takes a ball. Runners on first and second. Mets are 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position into the club. Hey, Mr. Mets offspring was here tonight. The line drive, deep left field, way back. Castro does it again. How about that? Can you believe Ramon Castro? Wow. Come on out. And he does. Jose Hoffman's the batter. What about this guy, Keith?
Well, hanging slider right there, and he launched it. 38th hit of the season for Ramon. Look at Willie. 38 hits, 36 RBIs.
You see Reyes out in front of Willie when that ball went over the wall? He and Ramon Castro kid around quite a bit in the locker room and on the bus. And they're very good friends, and you can see him enjoying and sharing in the jubilation that Ramon Castro gave it to everybody here at Shea Stadium. Offerman takes a strike. It's 1-2.
Oh, look at the reaction here.
Look at Reyes. Listen to this crowd. Mets have taken a 6-4 lead. Offerman takes outside.
Sometimes that your closer, I know the rule, only going one inning, Fran, gets down to the end here.
Oh, I agree.
He can go an inning and 2/3, inning and a third.
Well, it's a full count on Jose Hoffman. Foltz throwing in the bullpen, so is Luca. And speaking of loopers, but it's caught in left center field. Offerman is out, 2 men are down. You can still feel the buzz here at Shea Stadium.
Well, this game got completely away from the Phillies, and you got to give Ramon Castro back in the 7th inning with the Mets down 4-2. Fran, he got that leadoff double, wound up scoring on a wild pitch that made it 4-3, brought the Mets closer. And then, of course, this inning, the 3-run bomb, and he has been the star of the game if it ends up with a Met win.
Jose Reyes, the batter. What a great shot by our camera crew at Shea. The reaction of first Willie Randolph and then Jose Reyes. You'd swear that Jose hit it, but Ramon Castro hit it. Jose Reyes swinging through the off-speed pitch, no balls and 2 strikes, so they worried about everybody except the big boy, Ramon Castro. Ramon wasn't comfortable with that curtain call, was he?
No, he wasn't.
Very shy curtain call.
He's not used to it.
No, he would like that feeling more often. Reyes fouls it back. So Reyes is 1 for 4 tonight. He singled and he scored a run. A terrific reaction by Jose Reyes when Ramon Castro hit it out. Castro with a couple of blows, one a home run, the other a double. Yeah, that double was a huge hit. Earlier in the game when he scored the 3rd run, and came around and scored a 3rd run of the game for the Mets. Reyes pops it up. This should do it. And the ball gonna drop in. Look at this. Miscommunication. It's a double for Jose Reyes.
Well, it's Burrell's ball all the way. I don't know what he's pulling up blame for. He's the, I got it, you take it. That's got to be his ball.
And David Bell struggled earlier in the game with a pop-up he wasn't able to handle. You see, Jose Reyes got himself a double.
19th double of the season. The walks kill. You lead off. Urbina comes in. He walks right to lead the inning off. Gets the big strikeout of Jacobs. Then walks Victor Diaz. And the walks kill. You just give those free passes when you're protecting a 1-run lead or any kind of a lead.
Well, the big boy who idolized Pudge Rodriguez in Puerto Rico has the big blow tonight. Ramon Castro, look at this. Forget about it. How about that for a jump? You don't want to forget him.
Well, you know what? You're not going to hold him close. You're going to play back. It's 2 outs. He's going to score on a base hit anyway.
He can score on a wild pitch right
I understand, but you don't want to give up your defense holding someone tight with 2 outs.
I don't think you have to hold him tight, but I think as a shortstop, you can get behind him. Just start yelling.
Get behind him and get back.
Yeah.
Just call a little bit of extra effort.
That's right. Yell at him.
Hustle.
Yell at him. Make the runner know you're behind them.
Just don't get lazy behind him.
Oh, no. Get back. And it's 1-1 on Miguel Cairo. He pops it up. And Kenny Lofton makes the grab. But the story in the bottom of the 8th inning is the big boy, Ramon Castro. He goes deep. The Mets have taken a lead as Castro hits it into the Pepsi picnic area. Jimmy Rollins, you see his numbers. Keep in mind, we've been talking tonight about the pennant race pack. Includes 13 remaining home games beginning September 13th, featuring matchups with the division rivals. Your order with a non-refundable deposit towards 2006 season tickets includes the option to purchase the same seats for all potential 2005 Mets postseason home games. And first pitch to Rollins, 1-0 on Jimmy Rollins, who's 1 for 3. Has an RBI single and a walk. There's a strike.
Well, we know Looper's had his problems with left-handers. Coming into tonight's game, he's 309 lefties hitting off him. Right-handers 209. So that's a huge 100-point difference. He's got 3 lefties to face. Boom, boom. 4, excuse me.
Rollins fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of excitement out here at Shea Stadium for the first of this 3-game series. Lugue Urbina gave up the long blow to Ramon Castro.
Gave up 2 walks, too.
Got him! So Looper strikes out Rollins. 1 down, 9th inning.
Well, all the fastballs and sets up the split finger in the dirt. I thought he held up, but that's automatic today. They really ring you up today. We got to respect the bunt here with Lofton.
Lofton with good speed. 1 out. Lofton 2 for 4. A home run and a double. There's a strike. Keep in mind now, if the Mets win this ball game, Florida will tie Philadelphia for the wild card. The Mets will move to a half game behind the Phillies.
How about that?
And the Marlins. It is going to be a wild September. Foul out of play.
And let's not forget this. Washington in the 8th inning is beating Atlanta 3-2, and its division is not over. No one is assured. The Mets will go to 5 behind the Braves. It's going to be an interesting finish in the National League East.
Florida will go to 4.5. They'll be tied with Philly in the East. It's going to be a wild September in the National League East. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. So it's 1-2 on Kenny Lofton. He'll be followed by Chase Utley. One-two pitch, misses inside. Fans are on their feet. They've been on their feet since the 7th inning here at Shea Stadium. Jose Reyes jumped right off the ground numerous times when Ramon Castro hit the big home run. Set it up, do it again at 2-2. Beltran, a home run in tonight's ball game. Diaz, a couple of hits. The big blow. Ramon Castro in the 8th inning, a 3-run home run. Ground ball is short. Reyes got him. Boy, Reyes wired.
But we want him to stay calm. If you're a Met fan, you want him to stay calm. And he knows he's got the speedy Lofton. He's got to gun it over there, and he's got the gun.
I like that reaction. Jose Reyes, his reaction to that home run, he was a Met fan, wasn't he? Chase Utley, the batter. It's a Looper against Utley. The Mets have a 2-run lead here in the 9th inning. There's a strike. You want to avoid this confrontation right here, Keith.
Well, Abreu has had great success with power against Looper.
Although in Philadelphia early this year, Looper won the battle, and he mentioned the problems he's had with Abreu. Now it's 0-2. Players at the Mets have told me they feed off the crowds at Shea Stadium. And Chase Utley saying he was hit by the pitch.
Oh, the bench would be saying stop. Oh, he was.
Well, he tried to leaned in.
Yes, he did. He can't do that. He cannot do that.
I wouldn't give him first base if he got hit.
He'd be on the bench just going, stop begging.
That's what the fans are yelling right now. 1-2. It was the Phillies' night up into the 8th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. After that near miss of Utley, Looper goes away. Both teams tonight double digits with hits. Phillies 11, Mets 10, and it's upstairs. Ball 3.
Well, with that guy in the on-deck circle, here's a fastball. Hit it.
Right, that's exactly right.
You're going to get on base. You're going to earn it.
Here's a batting practice fastball. And Ramon Castro wants the heater. He gets it. There's a fly ball. Center field. Beltran with plenty of room. And the Mets beat the Phillies in the first game of this 3-game series. Urbina gives up a rushing home run to Ramon Castro. Beltran had a home run in this ball game, and Shea Stadium has gone wild as Ramon Castro with a 3-run home run in the 8th inning gets the Mets the victory. First game of this 3-game series is history. The Mets are a half game behind the Phillies and the Marlins in the wild card, and they're dancing in the aisles at Shea, Keith.
Well, this is just a huge victory for the Mets. Down early, 4-0, 4-1, and come back in this fashion. And it's been there's the losing pitcher. Who gets Urbina?
And Urbina's thrown well.
These kind of wins are the wins you love in September. They come from behind wins.
And that guy right there got his first major league curtain call tonight. Ramon Castro is a very popular player with this ball club. And the reaction by his teammates, and especially Jose Reyes, on that home run told the story about Ramon Castro with the New York Mets. So the Mets beating the Phillies 6-4 in the first of this 3-game series. That's the wild card standings. The Phillies and the Marlins are all tied. New York's a half back. Houston 1 out. Washington 2 out. So fasten your seatbelts as we head to the month of September. Well, the final score, once again, the Phillies losing to the Mets 6-4.